Hi, Carl here for ProAV TV. I'm at IBC 2019 on the Canon stand talking to Barry about their new Canon C500 Mark II. Okay, so Barry, it's been a week now that the C500 Mark II's been out. It's gone down really well.
Really well. We're so excited and so pleased that the market, the industry has taken the camera to its heart. People have come back to us and fed back to us saying that what we've done with this camera has just ticked so many boxes that they've been looking for in a camera. So it's
Absolutely.
Really good.
I mean, obviously we've already covered on the channel what the camera is, we've already gone through the specs, so if anyone at home hasn't seen that video yet, I definitely recommend going over and watching that. That will tell you what the camera is and what it does.
Yes.
So for this, I sort of wanted to focus a little bit more on some of the behind the scenes of the production of the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, who's this really for, do you think?
As in saying who it's for, the camera being designed the modular way it's been broken down, it's kind of been targeted to a multitude of different parts of the industry. It's been great talking at the show at the moment when people come up and say, I'm looking for a camera to do something for documentary, doing independent filmmaking, even some broadcast work, I've been able to bring them to this camera. So I think what Canon's thought process was with a camera like this, having the full frame sensor that we can change down to Super 35 and Super 16 with the attachments that we can put onto it, from having it from a small camera for gimbal work to building it up to being a proper cinema camera. It really ticks a lot of boxes in multitude of different areas. So I think Canon wanted to widen that out.
So in terms of the lineup now for sort of cinema-orientated products from Canon, I guess it's the C200, this, and then the C700 and C700 FF, right? I mean, C300's a bit more broadcast focused.
Yeah.
So how do you think you're going to differentiate between the... How is this different from the C200 for you guys, and how is it different from the C700 FF?
Well, they are completely different cameras. The C700 FF is a full production camera, full raw capability camera that does external workflow, external raw workflow. With the C500, it's a Cinema Raw Lite codec. Now, while Cinema Raw Lite is one of the codecs we're trying to drive and bring to the market to show flexibility in it, there is still a need in high-end production for a full raw workflow. So there's that kind of first breakdown. The second thing as well is the C700 full frame having higher frame rates, having ProRes, having a wider latitude of codecs inside it for that part of the industry. It ticks a lot more boxes for somebody or a production that needs that. The C500 trying to be more modular, targeted to lower budget work, targeted towards the rental market where they can actually rig the camera up for different productions, doesn't matter what that might be. We're just trying to bring that down to a lower price point, but still be able to offer the full frame offering that the C700 can do. They'll work great as an A and B camera when you think about it in that way.
And a much smaller size as well as
yes.
a smaller budget. I mean, that's the huge difference that you notice straight away.
Yeah.
It's so compact.
It is so compact, and that's the great thing about it. I've seen some people talking about, and I think we've got it around somewhere on a gimbal, and balancing it on a gimbal is so easy and easy to work with. I think people are really excited about having a full frame option and doing that. But then when you do need it to be a proper production camera with the attachments that we actually have now on offer to make it that way, you can build it up down to the needs and requirements of that shit you're doing.
In the last video I sort of described it as semi-modular in a way.
Yes.
So that sort of, I mean, a modular camera you build from the ground up, whereas this, it's workable without needing any of the modules, but they're there for when you want to build this up.
Exactly. Well, we know that within the industry, it's getting more diverse. And when we look the way it's changing, there is a requirement for a high-end look production, but in smaller cameras. We can see the way smaller cameras are getting more and more popular within the industry. And being able to bring something out that is the size it is, but being able to deliver what it does with the 5.9K Cinema Raw Lite internally is just phenomenal and really good for the industry.
So what do you think the main sort of thought process that Canon went through when they were designing this camera? I mean, what was really important to you guys?
Well, the importance was listening to the industry to a point. So from all our Cinema EOS cameras, talking about the 100, 200, 300, 300 Mark II and so on, we've always got feedback from the industry saying it would be great if we could see this in a camera, or it would be great if you could take that off the camera. It would be great to see a reconfiguration and putting XLRs on the body instead of being off the body, things like that. And this is just that evolution. So Canon have been going out, listening to the industry, taking that back and saying, right, in this area, which is the growing sector, this is the feedback and this is what we can bring to the market to offer that out for the work and the productions that are out there.
The other thing I wanted to ask was about the name. So C500 Mark II. I mean, obviously the C500 was a good few years ago now. Was it the second one in the Cinema EOS lineup?
It was, yes. It was in 2011. So it was one of the first of the family of Cinema EOS when Canon brought Cinema EOS to the world back in 2011. And as you know, then we had the C300, which was the full HD cinema camera, and then we had the C500, which was the RAW camera, the 4K RAW camera that we brought out. So looking where this sits, when you look at what the 300 range is always offered, it's internal, 42210-bit, all the codecs there, and the RAW external. The C500 kind of faded away there. So now the way codecs and the way we're evolving within the industry, the way we're capturing things, and the way cards and the media that we can capture on is changing as well. Cinema Raw Light we can see it as being a real evolution as a codec to capture internally, reducing all the collateral that may be required to capture high-end bit rate and bit depth information. So it sits right where we see the 500 range would be. When you look at what the 300 series does right now and where the 700 series is right now, you didn't need to bring something out saying a 6 or a 4 or whatever it might be. This is the perfect replacement of where the 500 range was going to go.
Awesome. I personally think it's going to be a very popular camera. Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carl. Cheers.